Hello, I hope that you're doing well. My name is Jeremy, and if you're clicking on this video, you're interested in my experience with attending Bellevue University for the Doctor of Business Administration program. This is my opinion, my reflections, my transparent moments as I am going through the program with the intent of sharing, so that way those who are comparing and contrasting universities and programs can take that information for whatever value they find in it and make an informed decision. I wish that there was that type of information accessible to me, so that way I can say that I made the right choice. For those that are specifically interested in Bellevue University, I am in year 2, term 4. And if you're looking online, you can see that the program is a 3-year format. Each year has 4 terms, and at any point in time, you could be taking 1 to 2 classes at a time. Each of those classes are 10 weeks each. And in between the classes, you take a 2-week break. So for example, I just got off of a 2-week break. I'm in 2 classes, Finance for Business Leaders and the Boot Camp, which I'll be in for 10 weeks. And then after those 10 weeks, I'll be on a 2-week break. It's actually one of the reasons why I chose this program is because of the breaks that are included, and also because of reading the course descriptions and seeing that there was an alignment between what the classes were talking about or would teach you, or what you would be exposed to, and aligning them with my long-term goal. And it was a right fit for me. I love the fact that it's an asynchronous method, meaning I can go online and engage in the class when I have the time to and the capacity to do so. And I love that it's a cohort format. So that way, as I am going through classes, I built relationships with people and can count on them to be consistent, or to text someone and say, I don't know what's going on, or what did you think about this assignment? And it really gives you a source of motivation to have people who are in the trenches with you. I have found value in all of the classes that I have gone through thus far, and setting aside the research classes, because that's a whole beast by itself. The classes that I found most interesting, probably because I'm an HR professional and biased towards HR classes, leadership in global organizations and the human capital development classes are by far my favorite. The organizational communication, business and society, and sustainable business development were interesting classes, eye-opening, but again, I probably lean towards those other 2 classes that I mentioned. I have enjoyed myself in the program because it's structured in a way that you follow the format. The professors have been great. They challenge you, and they're also flexible. They hold you to a certain standard, which you would expect at any studying at the doctorate level. But I appreciate the fact that the school is catered towards working professionals, because life happens, right? Just to give you an idea of how I'm able to, or how I've grown since starting the program. Prior to this program, I had my MBA and then also IO Psych Masters. So there were certain things that I was already exposed to, specifically in the Leadership in Global Organizations class and Human Capital Development class. But my understanding of the topics discussed in those classes was deepened. And I'll give you an example of how I've grown. So I work in HR. This video has nothing to do with my employer. And in the calendar year, there are HR activities that feed into certain initiatives. For example, talent management, or certain functions of HR, specifically talent management. And one of the outputs of talent management is succession planning, right? So you might have 3 to 4 different HR activities that happen throughout the year, which all feed into, we'll say for the sake of this video, succession planning. I now will take a few extra moments to really think about the implications of those HR activities, where prior to, I would have an idea of what's going on because of what I've learned and also because of experience, but I wouldn't take the extra time to sit with it and critically evaluate it in a way that changes my personal approach to it, in a way that adds more value to the HR activity, because I know that there's further implications upstream. So, for example, let's say that there is a top talent development program. Because of previous experience and because of previous education, I understand why those top talent development programs are in place, right? And I understand how they link to succession planning and the bigger umbrella of talent management. But now, because of the theories and the specific examples of research that's been done that I've been exposed to through these classes, I might ask more targeted and specific questions. I might listen with both ears when certain things are being presented. And in some instances, I might, with good intention, of course, push back a little bit because something may not be as baked out as well as I feel it should, based on, again, what I've been exposed to in classes. And of course, that's done in taste and it's done professionally, but it's because I now have a deeper understanding of, again, the implications of certain things happening, where a top talent program could literally be someone going through a few courses. I now would stretch that out and say, well, once the courses are done, then what? Like, how do we take those individuals in a way that's fair and consistent across the board to give them more experiences or exposure to other leaders or whatever it might be that might stretch whatever that assignment is or that HR activity is, in a way that adds more value to what was initially delivered. I hope that makes sense. When I think about the research classes, year 2 gets really, really interesting. And I've said interesting. Year 2 gets really, really challenging. By that time, you've picked your topic. You've probably read hours and hours worth of research, and you're starting to put it all on paper, which you'll have moments of writer's block. Like, you'll have moments of, I have to put this down and walk away. You'll have moments of, what did I get myself into? But I appreciate the flexibility and the ability to approach my dissertation chair and the professors within this program, because it's really, really challenging to study at the doctorate level in general, right? So having a university that puts its learners first and structures the program in a way such that people can work full time, be human beings, and learn is really helpful, especially when thinking about the research classes. I like the way that the research classes are broken into focusing on chunks of what you're doing. And that may be consistent with all doctoral programs, but it seems that with this program, it was strategically planned this way to help build one on top of the other instead of having everything done at one time. So in hindsight, I greatly appreciate it. I would say that the one thing that I find the most challenging is really just balancing taking a class and doing research at the same time. And again, it's probably something that you would expect at this level, but it is really, really challenging. One of the things that I'm glad that I did, which I think I started the video off with, is, again, making sure that this program, the program aligned with my long-term goal. And knowing my why up front is the motivation or the inner motivation that propels me forward. Like, consider that at any point in time, life can happen, things can happen at work, things can happen with family, things can happen with you, and you still have homework to do, right? There are certain sacrifices, that you'll have to make as a result of studying, right? You're putting 15 to 20 hours per class, per week into studying, right? So you might not be able to go out with your friends, or might not be able to go with your family members, or may not be able to binge watch certain series all the time, but it is a sacrifice. So I hope what you're taking away from this video is make sure, if you're considering Bellevue University and specifically the DBA program, that the university and the program, specifically the courses within the program, match your long-term goal. It is structured, in my opinion, in a way that allows an individual to be a human being, work full time, and study. I appreciate the breaks. I appreciate the cohort format. I appreciate the asynchronous method. The courses I found value in, some more than others, right? And the way that the research part of the program is structured helps you build on top of one another. And if I had to give advice to anyone who is about to go into this program, it is, again, know your why. Make sure that you're having an honest conversation with yourself about capacity and bandwidth, if now is the right time, if you have a support system, and if you're like, going back to the knowing your why, is this because you're wanting to teach? Is this because you're wanting to promote at work? Like, knowing that and being secure in that is critically important, because again, it's the motivation, it's the fire that's burning on the inside to keep your engine going. And then being really, really in love with your topic, because it helps you get through the mounds and mounds of research that you'll have to do, and reading literature reviews and research papers. And it just makes life easier when you're in love with your topic. I think I touched briefly on the professor experience, overall positive, and I continue to look forward to my growth. I think that I gave an application of how I've grown, comparing and contrasted how I would have approached something being on the surface, compared to now that I've gone through certain classes, being a little bit more in depth and strategic and methodical about how I think and critically evaluate activities that happen. And also giving you now some best practices. So I wish you the best of luck. Maybe in future videos I will go a little bit more in depth, but I realize because of the amount of work that is done in this program, and working full time and being a human being, that I won't say it's impossible, but it would be really challenging to go class for class what I've learned into the program. But again, the intention of this video was to share my opinion, my experiences, in a way that would help you make an informed decision. Would I do it all again? Yes. And I look forward to navigating the last 7 classes after this term, and walking across the finish line in June of 2025. Have a great day.